John Busby with Team Busby. I created the team back in 1990 in residential 1 to 4 units. Yeah, we just do a good job for the clients, and they ask, what's my house worth? And had a seller told him what the house is worth, and look what he did to my forehead. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, what happened?
Anyway, we do a good job for them. Andy Barquette referred a client to us, and she was tough in the beginning.
She is.
Yeah. But we turned her around. And sometimes it's not just what you sell, but it's how you treat the people. It's a relationship, and we really try to focus on the relationships. We do get the highest, best price. I've got several subdivisions where we have the highest price per square foot, and sometimes it can bite you in the butt because somebody else will want to list with you. In their home, it doesn't have near the amenities that one did, and they feel that they should get it. So like if you got a Chevy, if you got a Cadillac, I want the Cadillac price for my Chevrolet. But we do a good job for you guys, and we love what we do. Anyway, Andy, thank you again for that referral. It turned out well, it did.
Courtney Bridges again, Ticor Title. I've been there 5 years. In escrow, we're basically the neutral third party between the buyer and the seller. We fulfill the contract, make sure all the terms have been met, and then the buyer would give us the money. That way the buyer isn't paying the seller directly. So neutral third party, we just have to stay neutral through the transaction and make sure that all the terms of the contract have been met. Ticor is part of Fidelity National Financial, so we're a Fortune 500 company with some local autonomy here, but we definitely are a very corporate run business. So I think that's it.
Good morning, Tim Counter, Bakersfield Senior Placement. The real estate I deal with is seniors housing, specifically the licensed care homes around town, but my thinking in this meeting is primarily the larger community settings that you may or may not be aware of. There's a dozen of them at least, but the awareness being that I'm either helping the individual or couple who are moving in, or more often I'm working with the kids who's trying to move their parent or loved one into one of those communities, and knowing that the price, the monthly rate of those communities is probably the second biggest purchase next to your home that you'll ever do. It's a pretty important decision to make. When you go into these communities, you will meet with a sales professional, and they are very good at what they do. And they can tell you the ins and outs of their communities, more the ins by far than the outs, I'll tell you that. But you walk away from that like, why would I even go to the next community? This place is great. This is perfect, everything I want. But if you're riding with me, first of all, you're gonna get a little different story on that initial meeting with that person, because I know when they're bending the truth. And then number two, I'll just encourage you to say, no, let's go see those second and third properties that you had in mind, because I guarantee you, your opinion's going to change. It does. And it becomes a much more difficult decision because it's competitive, very competitive. So I'm your advocate. You never pay me anything. Anyone you refer to me never pays me anything. They don't pay anything additional for my access. They can go to these communities on their own and work their way through it as best they can. But why not take somebody along with them who understands what they're going through to walk through that and and the drive in between each stop, have a conversation. What did we just see? What did you like about that? What were your concerns? This is what happens when they ride with me. This morning, I'm picking up 3 ladies at 8:30, and they're gonna ride with me because they're looking for a place for the mother and a close friend who's in Rosewood Skilled Nursing Facility and gonna be discharged within the next week. They're her eyes and ears along with me. And that's a very common scenario. So hopefully that gives you an idea of why I'm on this panel today. Oh, you get 2 mics.
Yep. Is this one on? No, it's not. Oh, no, it's on. Hi, Tracy Frith. I'm a mortgage broker. I've been a local mortgage broker here for 31 years. I know it's hard to believe I'm that old, but I am. No, I'm kidding. I pretty much do everything. So all the regular agency programs, FHA conventional, reverse mortgage. I'm a certified military housing specialist. I can do ground up construction, ag, small industrial, commercial. So if you need a loan, then, I'm the one to call. Thanks.
Hi, I am Valerie Andre. I am with the ARC Executive Property Management. I have been in property management for almost 20 years. I started my company 2 years ago. I also incorporate evictions into my company. I manage all types of properties, so from commercial properties, single family properties, multi-family properties, as well as rooms for rent inside of homes. And it's actually a very fun job, and that's why I started my own business, because it was something I never wanted to stop doing. Evictions are fun. We don't have a ton of attorneys that want to do evictions now that are just cause, and I totally understand why the laws change a lot when it comes to that. But I will say that if you need some help with that as well, if you need just kind of like some advice, whether it's the owner trying to evict a tenant, an ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, all that kind of stuff. That's always fun too. And then also tenants. If you have a friend, one of the kids, something that's going on that need to respond to an eviction, I can also assist with that.
Renee Redmond with First American Home Warranty. I have been in the home warranty business for 19 years, which just makes me feel old. But I've actually been with First American Home Warranty for 13 years. It'll be 13 years this month, actually. And I put something, I've been in this group for a few years now, and I think every time someone in this group, I mostly work with real estate agents. That's what my job is. I call on real estate offices, and I get real estate agents to use my product when they're in a real estate transaction. So if you're buying a home, normally you want to buy a home warranty when you buy that home, just to make sure that once you move into that home, the systems and appliances and everything that's in that home work the way they're supposed to. And if they don't work the way they're supposed to, you have a home warranty to back that up. So to handle major things that break down, we replace or we repair or replace items. And when you move into your home, you're using it differently than the person who lived in it before you. If you might move into a home that like the home that I moved into that Mr. Busby over there sold me, the person that lived in it traveled all the time, and they were not there as much as I am. So I use all the systems and appliances differently than they did, and so I had to use my home warranty many times when I first moved in. So that's what my business normally is. But for you guys in this group, I have what's called a friends and family discount that if you wanted to get a home warranty and you're living in your home right now and you're not in a real estate transaction, you can purchase a home warranty still, and it is the same as the product that I sell to real estate agents. If you were to go online and Google First American Home Warranty or American Home Shield Home Warranty or some other home warranty company, and you're just a normal person living in your home and you want to get a home warranty because you're like, oh my gosh, my air conditioning is 20 years old. I know this thing's going out and I do not want to spend $10,000 or $15,000. I know that I'm going to need some help. So you just Google it and try to find and get a home warranty. That is a completely different product than the real estate product. The real estate product is much more extensive. It's better coverage. It's the one that I offer is less expensive, and it goes into effect immediately. So on the table, I finally put a sheet on the table that has the pricing for you guys. Those are the prices that I can offer you. That's different than anything else that you would look at online or anything like that. And most important part of this, listen to this part, and you can write it on the sheet. That price I can take $100 off. So it's a really, really good deal, and it's for the year. People will look at it and go, oh, is this a monthly price? No, that's the yearly price, and that covers all of your main systems and appliances. It covers your air conditioning, your water heater, your electrical, your plumbing, all of the main systems and appliances in your home, and we fix them or replace them. You pay a trade call fee if you have someone come out, and that's how it's handled. If you have any issues with your claim, anything like that, I'm the person that you would go to. I'm the person that you would call. I'm the person that would help you facilitate that and make that a smooth transaction. There's a system in place for home warranties. You know, you place a claim, you get a contractor, you handle the problem. Doesn't always happen the way it's supposed to. Doesn't always happen the way you want it to. I always tell people home warranty will save you money. It does not always save you time. But because you have me, I can save you money and time because I can get involved and speed it up for you. So if anyone has any questions, that's what this panel's for. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Does the home warranty cover built-in wine fridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine started beeping last night, so.
Do you have it covered is the
I
question.
don't know.
The refrigerator, you'll see on the paper that I gave you, the things that you add on, but there are not very many things to add on. Most of the things are already included in it. So if anyone has any questions, let me know.
What is the average cost for like the service call? Because there's a fee.
$95.
95?
Yes. Yeah, and it's a
And that includes multiple visits for that one.
it it handles fixing or replacing at that time. So if your air conditioning goes out, like mine did 2 weeks ago, your air conditioning goes out and you pay the $95. We send a contractor out. They come out, they look at it, decide what's wrong with it, and then they will tell you what needs to be done to fix it. All you will pay is that $95. I just had my blower motor replaced. I Googled how much is a blower motor to replace it. It costs anywhere from $600 to $1,200. So I didn't pay a penny after the $95. So, but if the guy would have come out and said, this thing is done, we need to replace your air conditioning, you would have other out-of-pocket costs. If we're replacing the air conditioning, you're probably gonna have $1,200 in out-of-pocket costs, but we're spending $10,000, $15,000 to replace the air conditioning. So and you paid $600 or $700 for the whole home warranty. So it's a no-brainer.
If you have multiple refrigerators or freezers, does it?
Refrigerator, you would add another refrigerator. It says additional refrigeration on there. A lot of people say they think that additional refrigeration means an extra air conditioning, but we cover multiple air conditionings with just our regular coverage.
But not a freezer or refrigerator?
Well, freezer is it not part of your refrigerator?
You can-
Like a deep freezer.
Yeah, that would just be an added one. Yeah, right. Anybody else? I'm gonna pass this around. You guys,
You have any questions?
how about questions about the real estate market? John, what's going on? Okay, wait, hold on. There's a lot of questions now.
Coming here this morning, they were talking about the income needed to buy homes. They're saying $1 million. You have to have income of $1 million. And I so disagree with sometimes what you hear on the news. There's all different price ranges. I mean, there's different loan programs. As Tracy can tell you. I used to be a loan officer, and I wanted to get into the sales end of it, and did that in the 1980s. I was a loan officer, and loan officers, they're the key. Whenever that we get somebody, we get them qualified, and otherwise, when I was a loan officer, she was a broker, and she had these two ladies. She was showing all these properties, back then, 150, 160,000. I qualified them 80, 90,000. So she wasted all that time. So whenever you're looking at a property, talk to Tracy first, get qualified, and then talk about the interest rates. We get that all the time. Interest rates, last time I checked, they had gone up. Are they still up?
No, they've come back down
They're
a
coming back,
little.
okay, good.
With the Iran deal,
What's that?
whatever, a potential deal.
Yeah,
Hey, John, you speak to us about ADUs and the conversion, and is that a good idea if you already have a property?
honestly, there's people that are doing that. Sometimes they're doing it.
First of all, explain what you start.
Oh, accessory dwelling unit, okay, that's where you add another unit separate from the home itself. I say separate, but it may be attached. But there again, there's different usages. My elderly parents, you can do that. Some people do it for additional income to offset their payment. Sometimes the kids don't want to leave the house. Well, they don't want them inside the house with them, so they created ADU. There's a subdivision off of Snow in Callaway, in Coffee, in that they built a lot of ADUs. What I don't understand, and I really should research it out, is that you have to allow for the additional parking. And sometimes it can be, when you have all these ADUs, the additional parking can be an issue. But the questions that we get most of the time is, what can I do? What's best for me as far as a pool, no pool? You know, they ask all these different questions, and over the years, if you sell a home in, say, October, November, December, I don't need a swimming pool. Well, about March, April, who's a good swimming pool company? So they end up, because of Bakersfield, the weather. Some of the other questions that we ask, and one thing about the two buyer partners that I have, one's been with me 26 years, the other one's been with me right at 16 years. If it's good, they will tell you. If it's not good, they will tell you. And I said, never, never, never make a sale for the make it with your heart. And so both of them have done it, and they've stayed with me a long time. Any other questions? Yes.
I got one for Tracy. Briefly, I've got a friend that's tired of that, living on Social Security. On a reverse mortgage, could you briefly go over how that works?
Yes, a reverse mortgage
Microphone.
is for somebody 62 years of age or older. A reverse mortgage can be a property you already own, or you can actually purchase a home with a reverse mortgage. So it's calculated based on life expectancy. So somebody who, let's say, is 85 years old will need more equity in that property than somebody who's 62.
Does it require a physical?
No. And so, yes, on Social Security, you can do a reverse mortgage. You can possibly even purchase just with a regular loan on with Social Security. If it's, we get the tax returns to see if they're paying any taxes on their Social Security. If they're not paying taxes, well, even if they are, we can always gross up the portion that's non-taxable. But if it's all non-taxable, we'll gross it up to 125%. So that does help. Reverse mortgage until about maybe 6 or 8 years ago was really non-qualifying income-wise. They changed that, so there are some qualifications. It's kind of an ability to pay, meaning there's no payments on a reverse mortgage per se, but you still have to be able to pay, you know, living expenses, your insurance, because that's not going to be included.
Do some people do reverse mortgage to invest in other properties?
I wouldn't recommend, I mean, I suppose maybe somebody out there might do that. I wouldn't recommend that because it's not a cheap loan. It's not for everybody. I always look at it if the client has other assets, reverse mortgage is maybe not your best option because there is mortgage insurance built into it. So it's kind of negative AM. So if you start with $100,000 balance, that balance is going to grow every year because it's accumulating interest, but you're not making any payments. And so I definitely wouldn't recommend that, doing a reverse mortgage. If you have property that you want to pull some money out, maybe to buy something else, I'd do a cash out refi, or maybe throw a fixed rate second or a HELOC on it.
So when does it get paid? I mean, as far as you said,
When
You can refinance it, like say the property value goes up and you're kind of at the end of the money that you've used. On a reverse, you can take a lump sum. You can do small monthly payments. It's basically like an equity line of credit, so you can just borrow money as you need it. You can pay that money back, but you can't re-borrow it on that same line. So say the house increased $100,000 in value, but your balance only increased, $20,000. And so there's some more money there. You can reverse what we call a HECM, home equity conversion mortgage, which is a reverse. So you could refinance it and possibly pull some more money out. Now, when it's paid back, it's either when that person passes and they pass it on to the estate has the choice of keeping the house and refinancing it into just a regular mortgage and keeping
or selling the house,
or selling it and paying it off. It's a non-recourse loan, so if for some reason the home is upside down at that time, they can't go after the estate or the heirs to pay the difference.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
Strangely enough, I have something to add to this one. Times when I'm working with families, of course, many of their assets is what's going to get them into these communities. But when I've come across those who have reverse mortgages, in many cases, they didn't take into account that they had that reverse mortgage. They utilized a lot of it, and now they don't have the asset to go into these communities. So you really got to plan. It's a great step for those who use it smartly, but be careful because that many times is your last resort. That's what I've seen. It's their last resort, and once that's gone, they don't have many options. Now you're looking at qualifying them for Medi-Cal and putting them into a Medi-Cal approved facility. Very different from the assisted living options we have in town.
Yeah, it's definitely a tool. Like I said, it's not for everybody. It is an expensive way to go. But for some people, it means the difference between, living fairly comfortably or not turning on the air conditioner, not, getting the groceries you want, people
Yeah,
that
that's
are
the situation.
down to Social Security. And, if you've worked your whole life for this asset that's paid for possibly,
Yes.
you should be able to live in comfort, for your remaining years. But like Tim said, you've got to plan. What happens if you can't stay in the house and you need to go to assisted living and you've used all that equity, which could have been funds, to go over to assisted living. So yeah, definitely you need to plan.
Thank you.
Thank you, question.
Tracy, how does it work when somebody, you guys probably both of the answer this question. If you first have to stay in the house when you have a reverse mortgage,
Yeah,
if you leave the house, doesn't that trigger having to be satisfied or paid off?
yeah. If you've left the house for a period of 12 months or more, and if you've left for 12 months, you're probably not returning. Like if you've had to go to a facility,
Yeah, does that
Yeah.
include going to a facility?
yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that could actually throw a monkey wrench in a lot.
Yes, so after 12 months, if you're not going to be returning to that property, then yeah, something needs to be done about that reverse.
If one person goes to nursing home and the other one stays, are you okay?
Yeah, if it's like a married couple that have a reverse mortgage, even if one person passes, the spouse is able to stay in that home until they're passing.
Let's answer the question. Tim, what would your recommendation be, and this is a personal question, but what would your recommendation be if you had someone coming in from out of state? What would the steps need to be taken if they needed to potentially go into some type of facility?
So my first question is this one working again?
No.
Kind of faded, huh? Are you talking for an independent retirement community or do they need assistance?
No assistance at this time.
No assistance, okay. So that quickly gives me a category, a classification of options from which to choose. And this is not an uncommon scenario. So really, we put together a profile on the entire situation, what they're looking for. Independent living is a considerably easier placement than assisted living, but your options are fewer as well. So there are a number of independent retirement communities in town that are standalone. So that's all they do. They don't have assisted living as an option beyond that. So that would be a discussion, what the difference between that versus the communities that have both independent and assisted living and or the ultimate, which is a CCRC, a continuing care retirement community that has all 4 levels of care on one property. There's only 2 of those here in town. And I'll just mention the second one. Well, Rosewood is one. Brookdale was the other. Brookdale is no more. You might have noticed that, seen the signs, heard about it. Brookdale was here for a long time, and now they are called Bayshire. So Bayshire was a company in California that bought all the Brookdale properties that were the CCRC, that had a skilled nursing facility attached. So they're very experienced in that realm, which I'm hopeful is a good thing because their skilled nursing facility was the poorest rated in town, believe it or not. So we're hoping that will go up. But so it's really trying to find out then what their budget is. Are they looking for studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, maybe even a cottage that is outside the building that has their own garage, because those are options as well. So are they bringing their cars or not? That's a big issue. Pets, things like that come into play. And then I'll know which ones fit that category. Are they optional with a pet? Are they optional with a car? That gives them different options depending as well. Does that help with that?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah,
Tim, question.
yes.
Can you give us a little bit of a range of assisted living and then if they need memory care later on? I mean, just to kind of give some expectations.
Yeah, so he's asking for a range of pricing for assisted living and with potential of memory care beyond that. So do this every day, pretty much, because people always want, they call with it. First of all, most of our callers, just so you know, think that Medi-Cal or Medicare is going to cover this. That's just the way it is. People assume, that's their initial assumption. So we have to help them as best we can down that path. But once those are kind of screened out, that's when they get to me. So the average numbers we're throwing out there these days, private rooms, whether it be a community setting, by a community I mean the bigger buildings, the Rosewoods, Bayshires, Magnolia Place, the Palm and San Lorenzo, etc. So for independent living, you're looking maybe about 4,500. For assisted living, more like 6,000 as a starting point. But then again, anyone going to any assisted living setting, whether it's a care home or a community, is going to have two prices. They're going to have the price for the room or the apartment. Is it a studio? Is it a one bedroom? Is it a two bedroom? And then what is their care plan? That's a second price. So if somebody's high functioning and they want to move into a nice retirement community setting, there's no care plan associated. So they're going to be closer to that $5,000, $5,500 mark. But depending on your care needs, and you can imagine there's the full gamut. There's the bell curve of care needs in town. So you can easily add thousands of dollars on top of that.
Is that a month or?
A month. A month. Yeah. Yeah. A month.
Yikes.
So, and when it goes to secured memory care settings, so the secured meaning they literally can't just walk out the facility. There's alarms to prevent that for dementia. Then the lowest priced secured memory care community in town has shared rooms at $6,500 a month. That's the lowest price. And on the upper end, like the highest level of care, you can hit $11,000 a month right now in town. So there's your range.
So prime example, my father-in-law had Alzheimer's, $9,200 a month. Whoa. $9,200 a month, and he lived 7 years.
Was that here in town?
And the only reason he passed is he fell and hit his head.
Oh.
That was it, yeah, 72 years old. Yeah, sad, it's a lot of money. too.
Andy.
We've had clients that have been like 10 or 12,000 a month bringing them care. But I bet there's somebody in this room that actually may sell long-term care insurance.
Tim, I got something
He said no.
pretty amazing. I went to a 90th birthday at Rosewood 2 weeks ago. And, we all have our visions of a rest home, or odor, terrible food, this and that. And anyway, it was a really nice secluded room off the main dining room. And you walk into Rosewood, it's like walking into an upscale hotel. I mean, it really is. And you go through that dining room, and then there's a private area back there where we were at. And it was a filet mignon dinner with all of everything. And she brought the chef out. The guy's from France, and he's got a heavy accent.
Yeah.
And, mustaches curled and stuff. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, it really was amazing. The food was off the hook, and the facility was clean. It smelled good. And all the people looked healthy. It was a really good experience. So kind of against what I was thinking we were going to have.
Right. So quickly, people confuse the skilled nursing from assisted living, from independent living all the time. Just because a place has maybe a good reputation on their independent living side, doesn't mean that their SNF, their skilled nursing facility, matches that. So if you're talking skilled, then you're not talking skilled, but Rosewood has skilled. For any skilled need, go to Medicare.gov and get an instant rating from Medicare.gov on that skilled nursing facility. It's right there on the spot. It's the best thing I can give you as well, besides reputation. But you would be surprised how horrible the ratings are in this town of the skilled nursing facilities.
What's the highest rated?
Highest is 5-star. There's no 5-star. There's no 4-star.
Really?
No. Unless Rosewood had bounced back. Rosewood's been bouncing back between 3 and 4 star in their skilled nursing. They've typically been up there. And then there's a couple actually in Delano that have hit the 4 star. And then you're down to 2 stars and 1 stars. And that's the vast majority of what we have in town for skilled. For skilled. So I would say, like Bayshore, when they were Brookdale, their independent living, 5 star. The activities, the transportation, the happy hours, all those good things. I mean, that's great. So you assume that's the way it's going to be throughout the transition there. Well, it's just not. It's just not that way.
Tim, who gives those reports that how good they are?
So that's what I'm saying. That's the only reliable report, Medicare.gov. You can actually, if you want, you can drill down and see all their scoring methodologies and their tests and everything. Beyond, and that's only for skilled nursing facilities. There is no such rating for assisted living. There's nothing. You can go to Yelp for all you want. I mean, that's probably the best you can do on that. Or frankly, the best you can do is right here. Right here.
So that's kind of where it's getting at, is how does you look at the landscape out there and you go, where do these people get their ratings? Is it just from like people like Yelp and people call in and they complain?
Yes.
They write
Yes.
a review.
There is a method to complain officially with assisted living. There's a website from the CCLD is the website, Continuing Care Licensing Division, and you can file a complaint and they'll investigate it. But there's no scoring. There's nothing out there that says, here's what everybody else gets. You can look at the scoring individually of communities. You have to drill down in there, but it's really not very good. It's not detailed. You can't see very many specifics. It's really, and it's very outdated as well.
We don't have to do any of that. We just call you.
Just call me.
What are the reasons behind this slowness, and do you feel that that low score?
Yeah, well, why they have low scores? Boy, that's a great question. I wish I knew. I don't know. It's, but it is pretty much
It's
across the
attributed-
board.
Well, I was gonna say, is it cost cutting, or is it because they can't get good
That,
team, you know?
no, that's probably pretty realistic. The competitiveness of that, the qualifications. I mean, those are a lot of, the CNAs in there are close to minimum wage, right? Those same people who are doing very difficult care under very difficult conditions and covering a whole wing perhaps, could go to In-N-Out Burger and get $3 more an hour, or go to Amazon, get $4 more an hour with healthcare for doing a much simpler job. I mean, it's a tough one. Got a couple of hands here.
I was gonna answer the
Terrible.
skill, why they have so much trouble in Bakersfield. I've been heavily involved with skilled nursing assisted, and I've seen the way the organizational structures and these operations work. This industry has been heavily taken over by like corporate investment called REITs, and their focus is not on Bakersfield markets. They can't get their best administrators to come here. They can't get their best DONs to come here. I've always seen they try to ship people in from Los Angeles, from Utah, from wherever, and the people stick around for a couple months and then they're gone. So it's just kind of the corporate effect that they have because of where their top resources are. Can't get them to come to Bakersfield.
As a 16-year paramedic firefighter here in Bakersfield, I ran their facility. So I can tell you exactly Valley Convalescence, Field Pleasant Cares, the Beverly Manors, the San Joaquin Care East and West. These facilities, I'll tell you, they're disgusting. I've been there. The way they treat the patients there are horrible. I don't ever wish anybody's family member to ever have to go to a skilled nursing. If they're gonna go home, they go to assisted living, or they go to a rehab facility, like in Compass, where Martha Samora is the CEO there, that I used to work with at San Joaquin Community Hospital. They're bad. They're bad facilities. And I don't care if anybody has anything, someone else got something better to say, but I'll tell you what, I've been to every facility, and they are horrible. They treat those patients horribly. And I've seen it firsthand.
So let me add to that you don't really often have a choice when you're going to skilled nursing facilities versus assisted living. It's not really, I think I'll go to assisted living instead of skilled nursing. No. You go to skilled nursing because you have a medical need, okay? that is the differentiator between that and assisted living. You have a need for a doctor, or an RN, or an LVN to oversee your care. Then you're not talking assisted living, you're talking skilled nursing. But there are some people who continue to hang out in skilled facilities, paying privately, I might add, at about $15,000 a month, who don't have a skilled need. They don't understand. There's no reason for them to stay there. They just think, I'm getting the best care. This is a skilled nursing facility. It's not the case. The best care would be in an assisted living setting. The caregiver to resident ratio is superior. In an assisted living setting, you just don't have a doctor or a nurse overseeing that care. But if you have that requirement, yes, you need to be in skilled nursing. So the verbiage, the nomenclature in this gets a little complicated at times, but yeah, that's that reality. And yeah, I do think there are some SNFs around town, like Rosewood, who I would not say their care is horrible. Mediocre. And that's why they're a 3 and 4 star. Yeah, that's
If
right.
you had to go into a facility today, which one would you pick?
Rosewood. For skilled.
There's your answer.
Assisted living.
For skilled. Assisted, there's a lot of opinions and
Yeah.
differentiations there, for sure.
For skilled nursing, who's in charge? Is it the state with the ratios? Because we know there's some, medical professionals, the nurses, they're in charge of 40, sometimes 50
Yeah.
residents with their medications. Like, what can we do about that too? Because we have to play devil's advocate and look at it both ways. Or what are we doing to improve these SNFs in our own community? I mean, you saw it
Well,
firsthand.
it's just tough because, with just one instance, got on scene for shortness of breath. We got on scene, they have a noise, she's semi-Fowler's, and she's sitting in there's a nasal cannula. I go up there to check the patient. She's rigor mortis. She's been dead for 4 hours.
Oh, gosh.
And then she says, can you guys help me call the family? We said, sure, we'll help you. She's brand new. We start calling the family. She goes, oh, no. What? That's the wrong patient. She gave us the wrong folder. We called the wrong family, called the wrong mortuary. This was at Parkview Rail on Real Road, 329 North Real Road on there.
Yeah, safety.
Which is shut down, by the
like
way.
Yeah, but safety, I'm like, can one person, one medical professional be responsible for that many lives without making a mistake like that too? I mean, safety, we have to think of that, and it's safety of the patients most importantly, but also the safety of the medical professional too. I mean, you put in triple what they make to work on one of these.
That's all good. That's all correct. But that's off our topic today for this panel.
I know, after talking about skilled nursing and all these facilities, I think our takeaway should be, we all need to go see Dr. Beatty.
Yeah.
There you go.
I want to know.
We have been interacting with Val, yeah. Okay, congratulations on the new business, 1. 2, we kind of want the tea. We want to hear about squatters. What do you do? How do you go in? How long does it take you on average? Which I already know the answer to this because you're amazing. But tell us you versus others.
So there is a very difficulty getting rid of tenants now if you are not getting rid of tenants based on monetary eviction. A just cause eviction is completely different with the TPA, which is the Tenant Protection Act in California. You move somebody into your home, you don't just get to move them out anymore by giving them a 30-day notice or a 60-day notice. Before, we used to be able to give a 30-day notice before a year, after a year, we had to give them a 60-day notice. That does not apply anymore. You have to evict a tenant based on a couple of reasons. One is that you have to you're doing major renovations in your home, or the owner is going to occupy the unit. You can't just get rid of a tenant anymore. You have to go through an actual judicial process, which is the eviction process. And that is going to take you anywhere between 3 and 6 months. And that depends how the tenant decides to fight back. And a lot of times these tenants, depending on how you got them in there, they can get free legal aid. Legal aid has nothing else to do but waste their time and go hard on you and your attorney and spend your hard-earned money. And they can take you to the cleaners for about 3 to 6 months. We only have 1 sitting commissioner for evictions here in Kern County. We had 2 for a minute, but we only have 1 now. that just works completely on evictions. So that takes a little bit of time, not to mention sheriff lockout time. Sheriff lockout time can take anywhere between 4 and 6 weeks. So from start to finish, you can look up to worst case scenario, 6 months for an eviction. That's why you want to get a good property manager in for any type of property. So that's for commercial, that's for single family, that's for room for rent. I mean, if you want me to screen your girlfriend, yeah, call me. I'll do that. I have charged owners to help them with notices to get rid of a significant other. Just because there has been there's just different issues. It is very difficult. You send a piece of mail to that home, they are now tenants of your home. It's totally changed up the game. We are going to be in this TPA Act until 2030. This was something that was implemented during the COVID time. It's a very difficult thing to get over. So you want to make sure that you're screening, you got the right property manager in there. That's everything. You want to look at credit, you want to look at criminal background, you want to look at rental history, you want to look at employment verification, you want to go through everything. It takes a little bit of time for all of that information to get back to you, but it's worth it. I have a very, very low eviction rate, extremely low, but you can't help, especially right now circumstances. There are tenants that are choosing between groceries, PG&E, and paying their rent. There are people that have families that are trying to figure out how much gas they put in their car versus what they're going to do as far as, that goes. We have owners that do understand these situations and are working with different tenants, but at the end of the day, the mortgage is due when the mortgage is due. And so I do implement late fees on tenants. I do have communication with the tenants if they start to run late, but so far, because the screening process went pretty good, my tenants are usually long-term. They stay anywhere between 2 and 3 years inside of the home, and then they make their way out at that time. So there's different rules for commercial properties, and there's different rules for. Sorry, my phone's trying to turn this off, and it's just going off. There's different rules for commercial properties. Not very much too different than it is for a single-family home. Yeah. Kind of did. Those are long answers.
So when you say
a monetary amount though, what does that usually range?
So if a tenant defaults on rent, that's considered an eviction that would be based on monetary damage. So if your tenant owes you $600 rent because they rent a room from you, then that would be a monetary based eviction. A just cause is because tenant wasn't supposed to have a dog in the home, and tenant brought in a dog in the home, and now the dog is causing a lot of issues like barking, or neighbors are complaining about the dog, or they brought in an additional boyfriend that doesn't want to get on the lease because it doesn't qualify for the lease. Yeah, there's a few reasons why you would go into just cause. Just cause makes it a lot more difficult now to get rid of tenants. It's a lot harder. At that point, I would refer out to a real estate attorney.
But the monetary one.
Easier. It's a lot easier, but you're still looking at the worst case scenario up to 6 months. But best case probably 3. And that means that you're investing in a attorney, or and at the same time you're still obligated to rent if you own the home.
okay, is that
I just want to, Valerie does a fantastic job. We had a property in Laguna Hills that we rented ourselves. Actually, it's my mother-in-law's property, and I ran the credit for the tenants, and I told her, do not rent to these people. And of course, she's an older woman, and her heart went out to them, and she rented to them. During COVID, they stopped, and this is like a $3,200 a month rent. It's a condo in Laguna Hills. They stopped paying, couldn't get them out. So we hired Valerie. Valerie was able, during COVID, to get them out. Of course, they destroyed the property. It was about $80,000 in damage. But Valerie just came in and did a fantastic job. And I can't say enough about everybody on this panel. I've worked with everybody on this panel, and everybody up here is just fantastic, professional.
I would agree. Thank you guys very much.